Hey y'all, have you ever wondered about fasting? It's a powerful and deeply spiritual practice, both ancient and incredibly relevant today. It's way more than just skipping a meal or two. It's about connecting with God on a whole new level. You ready? Let's dive in. So, what is fasting really? It's choosing to give up something, usually food, for a specific time with a spiritual purpose. It's like hitting pause on the everyday things that consume our attention, making space for God. It's about surrendering to Him, acknowledging our need and opening ourselves to hear His voice more clearly. Think about it. The noise of life can drown out what God is trying to say. Fasting helps us quiet the noise and tune into His whispers. It's not a punishment. It's a privilege to connect with our Creator on a deeper level. Fasting has been a part of faith for ages, a spiritual discipline that transcends time and culture. It's a practice of surrender, where individuals set aside physical needs to focus on their relationship with God. Woven throughout the Bible in both the Old and New Testaments, fasting is often linked to moments of deep spiritual significance and transformation. We see examples of people like Jesus, who fasted for 40 days in the wilderness before beginning his ministry. This period of fasting wasn't just about physical deprivation. It was a time of preparation, reflection, and connection with God, equipping him for the mission ahead. Esther, too, turned to fasting during a time of crisis. Along with her community, she fasted and prayed, seeking divine intervention when their very survival was at stake. Her story reminds us of the power of collective faith and trust in God. Daniel's fasting was an act of seeking clarity and wisdom. In the face of challenges, he chose to humble himself before God, demonstrating that fasting can be a way to seek guidance and understanding in uncertain times. The early church also embraced fasting, especially before making significant decisions. It was a way to align their hearts and minds with God's will, ensuring their actions were guided by divine wisdom. These stories show us that fasting isn't an outdated ritual or mere tradition. It's a profound act of faith, a way to deepen our spiritual connection and seek God's presence in our lives. Fasting remains a timeless practice, one that not only draws us closer to God but also empowers us to live out His purpose with clarity, strength, and devotion. Why fast? The benefits are incredible. Fasting helps us hear God's voice more clearly, tuning out the static of the world. It deepens our dependence on God and helps us grow spiritually. In our weakest moments, His power shines through. Fasting can break through battles, spiritual struggles, personal challenges, or long-standing prayers. But most importantly, fasting aligns our hearts with God's, saying, "You are more important than anything else." It's about seeking Him above all. Y'all, we live in a loud world. The noise is constant, notifications, conversations, and the endless hum of life. It's like we're always plugged in, always on. But in all this noise, how often do we pause to truly listen, to hear the voice that matters most? The busyness and constant information make it hard to hear God's still, small voice. It's not that He's silent, it's that we're often too distracted to notice. His voice is gentle, not competing with the chaos around us. When we fast, we create space to be still, listen, and be present with God. Fasting isn't just about giving something up, it's about making room for something greater. It's about quieting the noise, both external and internal, to focus on Him. It's about quieting our physical hunger to tune into the deeper hunger in our souls, the longing for God. That longing is always there, but fasting helps us recognize it, embrace it, and respond to it. Matthew 6:16 reminds us fasting isn't about outward appearances, but about seeking God in the secret place. It's not about showing others how spiritual we are. It's about humbling ourselves before Him in private, where our hearts are laid bare. When we fast with a heart turned toward Him, He promises to meet us there. It's in that sacred space of surrender that we encounter His love, His guidance, and His peace. Fasting is about intimacy with God, not impressing others. It's about drawing closer to Him, letting go of distractions, and allowing Him to fill the empty spaces in our lives. And in that secret place, He rewards us with His presence. His presence is the reward, more profound than anything the world can offer. It's there, in the quiet, that we truly hear His voice. Fasting is like a spiritual boot camp. It stretches our faith, builds spiritual muscles, and draws us closer to God. Denying ourselves reveals our dependence on Him as our sustainer and provider. It strengthens our spiritual discipline, teaching self-control and saying yes to the Spirit. Fasting heightens our spiritual sensitivity, making us more aware of God's presence and guidance. It's a tool to go deeper with God, experience His power, and grow in faith. If you're seeking a closer walk with Him, fasting is an incredible way to get there. We all face battles, impossible odds, unanswered prayers, or personal struggles. In Mark 9:29, Jesus said, "This kind can come out only by prayer and fasting," showing its power in spiritual warfare. Whether it's a stronghold, a health issue, or a relationship needing healing, fasting is a weapon in our spiritual arsenal. Coupled with prayer, fasting releases supernatural power to move mountains and break chains. When we humble ourselves, deny our flesh, and seek God wholeheartedly, He hears us and moves on our behalf. Fasting is about trusting Him to fight our battles. If you're new to fasting, start slow, maybe skip a meal or two. Fasting doesn't have to be extreme to be meaningful. Begin with small steps that you can sustain. This could mean skipping breakfast or lunch and using that time to focus on your spiritual growth. Remember, fasting is a journey, not a race, and spend that time in prayer. Prayer is the cornerstone of fasting. It's not just about abstaining from food, but about drawing closer to God. Use this time to pour out your heart, seek guidance, and listen for His voice. Set a clear purpose for your fast. Why are you fasting? Is it for clarity, healing, or a breakthrough? Having a purpose helps you stay focused and committed. What are you seeking God for? Take time to reflect deeply on this question. Fasting is an opportunity to align your desires with God's will. Write it down and make it your prayer. Journaling can be a powerful tool during fasting. It helps you process your thoughts, track your progress, and document the insights God reveals to you. Instead of focusing on what you're giving up, think about what you're gaining. Fasting is not just about sacrifice, it's about making room for God to work in your life. Focus on filling that space with God, His presence, His word, and His peace. Prayer, Bible reading, and meditating on Scripture, worship, and journaling. These practices help you stay connected to God and make the fasting experience more fulfilling. Remember, fasting isn't about earning God's favor, it's about creating space for Him to move in your life. It's a way to humble yourself and seek His presence, but aligning your heart with His. Be prepared for resistance, headaches, cravings, or negative thoughts. These challenges are normal and part of the process. When they arise, turn to prayer and Scripture for strength. Push through. It's in those moments of struggle that you grow. Fasting refines you, teaching you to rely on God's strength rather than your own. That we grow stronger and more dependent on God. Each step, each prayer, and each moment of surrender brings you closer to Him. Fasting isn't about being perfect, it's about hungering for God more than anything else. It's about creating space to encounter Him in a deeper way. Whether you're seeking answers, healing, or a closer walk with Him, fasting opens the door. In surrender and seeking, we experience His presence, power, and peace. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be filled. Matthew 5:6. Let fasting be your way of saying, God, I want more of you. If you found this message encouraging, share with someone today.